Happy Self-Love Sunday, ladies. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that your journeys are going well today. So last week we started talking about, what self-love looked like, right? And we start off with that self-awareness list, right? So the next step, which we're going to, if you didn't get a chance to look at that, please, go back next week and look at it because we're going to just jump right into this week. So the second step, which I think is really one of the hardest, honestly, because I have many lists that I've done nothing with, right? Literally is a to-do list on my refrigerator right now that I haven't touched. So making a list is not it. The second step, which is deciding, making a decision to remain committed, dedicated, and consistent to your healing above all things. And that sounds easy rolling off my tongue. But let me tell you, it was one of the hardest things that I ever had to do. And let me tell you this, especially if you're a mom or a nurturer or a natural care lead, a caregiver, I'm sorry, just by birth, because I felt like felt like that for me, right? I don't know how it or when it started, it just was. I had a hard time saying no. And I've realized, though, I had a hard time saying no because of guilt. Prime example, my kids. I had a hard time telling them no about certain things because I felt guilty that me and their dad was divorced. I'm like, well, they didn't ask for us to be divorced, and they didn't deserve this. Things are so. What do? Start overcompensating for that, right? By not saying no to things that I should have said no to. As recently as my granddaughter, I felt so guilty, like her dad is no longer living. So it's like, how can I say no? And it became a really hard thing. And then I was always doing for people. If somebody asked me to do something, it was like, yep, no problem. I got it. Nieces, nephews, whatever, right? Always saying yes, 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 at any cost to me. So one of the things I put on the list that I wasn't so proud of was my finances, right? I wanted to be in a better financial position. But because I couldn't say no, and people think, it's so funny because most people think that I'm mean, that outer shell. But that inner thing is in there, my heart, straight soft, especially when it comes to my kids. So I wasn't saying no, and it was causing me to have these financial burdens that it was just like, oh my God, I would be in over my head, and I'm sitting at a spreadsheet and I'm stressed and I'm, all because I couldn't say no. So that was hard for me to do, but I had to start doing it. I had to realize that, I can't change the fact that my son is no longer living. So no matter what I gave her, it wouldn't change anything. My love is the ultimate. My love and my time is the ultimate, right? The same thing with my kids. I cannot change, and I will not change the fact that I'm divorced from their dad. What I did, though, was I developed a wonderful co-parenting relationship so that they are able to go back and forth between us with no issues, no problems, no nothing. And on top of that, they have everything they need. So I can't get to some of those wants, right? But it took me a minute to get there. So, and then, just overall, so in that was me developing the plan, right? So that's what I mean by making a decision, developing a plan, to say, okay, I'm going to be consistent with this because consistency will kill you. Real talk. Like, that was hard. Why? Because life kept happening. As I'm trying to as I'm working on this healing, because it wasn't trying, I was doing it, right? Working on healing, because healing takes time. And I'm not talking about like, oh, I have stress, right? I'm talking about dealing with my past trauma, the grief, the hurt, the pain of just some things that I experienced when I was younger. Working through that was hard. So it was like, but I wanted to remain consistent with it because I realized that all of those things played a pivotal part. I mean, it was everything into who I was today, or developing into being, and it developed some behaviors that I just didn't want to display anymore. So I had to decide. I had to say, you know what? I no longer want to do that. I no longer want to be that. So I'm going to work on doing XYZ so that I can, become something better, something more, something I knew I was more capable of. You know what I mean? It was like, I knew I deserved better. I knew I could be better, right? But I was okay with remaining in this mediocrity zone, is what I called it. And this is just strictly for me, right? Because it was easy. It was real hard to commit to wanting to do something about those behaviors, So I just feel like, you have to set yourself up, for the work, but you can't set yourself up until you decide to become committed, and pledging to putting yourself, You're healing above all things. Another example that I will give you is I was started this. I'm gonna start back working out, right? I'm gonna get back because I had been doing it for a minute, and I was just like, I need to get back into it because I realized fitness is a big part of me and my balance in life, because it's all about achieving balance, right? And then I enroll in salsa class. I'm getting ready to get started and getting moving, and then Casino passes away, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. So I made the decision. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go away for a week, right? And all those things that I'm describing that I'm doing today would not have happened years ago. It just wouldn't have. Oh my God, I leave my kids. Oh my God, my job. That wouldn't have happened. It was because I made that decision a long time ago to be committed to giving myself what I need. That's what self-love is. Myself what I need. And this is, and let me tell you what self-love is not. It is not selfish. It is not, okay, I'm not, going to no longer spend my money, give my kids what they want. So now I'm going to spend it all on me, and I'm going to do it's really not it's not that. It's really just committing to giving yourself what you need to become better every single day. No longer betraying yourself. But you have to be committed to it. Because throughout the moment you say it, I'm going to tell you, the moment I decided, it was like every brick that could be thrown at me was just coming. But I set myself up to win. How did I do that? I decided that there was some things. So here's the thing. If you think that there's any sort of depression, anxiety, past trauma, meaning anything to deal with any type of abuse, neglect, grief, or mental health problems, then you have to reach out to a licensed mental health professional to help you through those things. Grief was killing me. So I was like, okay, I have to give myself what I needed, but I didn't reach out until I was ready. I was ready to be committed to it, committing to putting in the work, committing to whatever it took to heal, right? So if that's where you think you are, that may be a first, step to you once you really made that decision. But if you're not that deep down the rabbit hole, because everybody doesn't have those things. It could be something simple as, trying to, figure out work-life balance. You aren't as healthy as you need to be. You need some guidance on how to move forward, whether it's with your career or something in your life. You just don't know how to take advantage of your strengths or weaknesses or your talents. And, you need help with making a major life decision, whether it's move, promotion, or something like that, or just some day-to-day stress. I mean, you may need a coach, right? And that's one of the reasons why I decided to become a coach. Because when I went to a coach, I was like, wow, if I had these things, these tips, these skills, or these things to learn how to work through these things years ago, man, I would have been in a total different place. But I realized that I had to go through each and every one of those steps. Every single person that came in my life, that things happened the way they did, all of that was not, as crazy as it sounds, it was to help develop me into a better person, but it wasn't to help develop me into a better person just for me. It was to help me develop into a better person for you, meaning like to help others. It was never truly about me, but it took some learning and some things to understand that. But the first step was self-awareness. The second step was deciding to be committed to this. You have to decide that you are tired of the same lessons, being on the same merry-go-round of life and never getting off, being sick or tired of crying and just being in this down place. Like, damn, aren't you tired? Because that's what that law was. Like, are you kidding me? There has to be something better. I know it is. But I realized that it wasn't somebody else that was going to give it to me. I had to go and get it for myself. I had to go give it to myself. I had to make the decision to be tired of being sick and damn tired of the finances not being right, of, relationships not being right, of friendships not going the way that they need to go. Like, I realized that I had to give myself everything that I wanted those other people to give me. How about that? They just wasn't going to fix it. And something that's funny is when we talk about the divorce, you know what? Here's the thing. Literally the best thing I could have ever done for me. I wasn't, sitting in a relationship that is toxic and unhealthy was not the best thing for my kids. I see so many women, I talk to them all the time, that's just in these unhealthy, toxic, hateful, just nasty marriages. And it's like, well, because I'm just waiting till the kids grow up. Yeah, but the kids are a direct demonstration of what you're showing them. What? I'd rather for my kids to see me go through the struggle of being divorced, to watching me work to heal myself, to become the best me, to be whole, healed, healthy, and happy, 90% of the time, than to show them just stay in a relationship because that's what two people are supposed to do. You stay in it to raise your kids together. What? No. And I'm not advocating divorce. I'm advocating self-love, self-care, loving yourself enough to know that your kids deserve that. That's what I'm advocating. I'm advocating for you to make a decision today to become a better you by any means or righteous necessary. Deciding, committing. That's what I'm advocating for. So next week, we're going to dive a little bit more deep into the plan. But first, I just want to make sure that you decide by any means righteous necessary to commit to being the best you can be. That is the only way you're going to be the best mom, the best wife, the best friend. You got to know that. I love you for listening today. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Sunday.